Because how many times have we heard about chakras? The head chakra. And now we're looking at some energy that's coming from the head chakra. We are looking at the energetics in the body before Ormus. Before Ormus, after Ormus.
Wow.
You think there's a difference? 10 minutes after Ormus. We were blown away that we couldn't even think, or else we would have thought to take another picture 30 minutes after Ormus. But we just ended up being on that back porch saying, oh my God, that tail of energy got larger, the pattern got larger, the center red got larger. There's energetics going on. What is going on? So we did some study, and here's what we found out. We found out that you have these major chakras in the body: crown, brow, throat, heart, solar plexus, navel, and base. And each of the major chakra centers, which is, by the way, an energy vortex center, is associated with glands in the body. The crown is associated with the pineal and thalamus glands. So what happened after Ormus is these glands are tied to the head chakra. The glands got energized. The glands fired up. And because just like you're at one end of the hose up there at the head and the other end where the gland is, when one is affected, the other displays. So they're related. So what does the pineal and thalamus do? The pineal gland affects our sleep cycles and sexual maturity changes. Now, when you go into sexual maturity, you're building up to be the best. Hey, come on, welcome. Grab a chair from in the room over there, okay?
Okay.
Or this white chair here. And we're just at the point where you're going to see energetics before Ormus, look at that crown chakra, and 10 minutes after Ormus. And then grab a chair. Because we're going to talk about the glands that are associated with the crown, which is the pineal. The sexual maturity changes is where you're developing, what do they say, to be the best that you can be? And I'm not talking about the Marines. You know, your muscle mass, your reflexes, you are at your height because as far as Mother Nature is concerned, the only reason that she made you was so that you could reproduce for her and make the next generation. That's all she cares about. So once your glands start to slow down, she picks up on the fact that you're past the reproduction time and that you start to wither, and we call that aging. Now, when you think about when I show you these images, if we're getting these glands to be energized, we're fooling Mother Nature, either to a full degree or a partial degree, but to some degree, and we're going to affect the aging process. We're not going to decline as quickly. The thalamus gland is associated with the crown chakra, and that gland is intimately tied to your physical world. Sight, sound, hearing, and touch, which is how we bring our physical into us, and that's why people who start to go blind, but they're not blind yet, they're distancing themselves from their conscious awareness because they can't get sensory input. And what happens is when your thalamus is fired up, energized, and activating, you notice that you're more consciously aware, and you recognize that because you remember how you were versus how you are now. So if you think you're conscious now, what I'm saying, after you take Ormus, you're going to be even more conscious because you're going to get more of the sensory stimuli in. Now, that's what the Western says. What does the Eastern philosophy say about the crown chakra? They say that universal energy enters through the crown chakra, and that is pure consciousness. It's the ultimate truth. And if your crown chakra is energized, you experience spiritual enlightenment, which is a supreme step in human evolution. Now, what does Ormus do? It intuits insights or wisdoms, and these cause life to be more workable. Sounds like a universal energy, a pure consciousness, and an ultimate truth. Something that you're going to learn to collect yourself. I really want you to get it, learn it, own it, do it, and share it. So let's see what happened to another picture we took. Look at the forehead before Ormus. What chakra is found at the forehead? Yep, you're touching it, Jacqueline.
Attention? No, the third eye.
Third eye is at the forehead. So there's before Ormus, and after Ormus. Oh my gosh. We have a major energization on the forehead area, which is where the third eye is, in the brow. And the third eye is connected to the gland called the pituitary. And the pituitary's main job is to make growth hormone, which affects the tissues to grow by creating protein formation. The pituitary also works with other hormones with every gland throughout the whole body. That's why they call that the master gland. Very important gland. And when you see an energization in the forehead area, that is linked to the pituitary. So, when you look at the Eastern philosophy, what does it mean if you energize the pituitary? They say that you experience psychic seeing, intuition. This is where the vision of the higher creative self is, and the center for the higher mental consciousness. This is all about enlightenment. You are not going to be the same. Now you might find that people that you have been friends with, for some reason, they don't really want to be around you because you make them uncomfortable. Not that you're trying, it's just that how can you help but not change when you have higher mental consciousness and you have a vision of your higher creative self without you even be aware of it. It's happening as a subconscious level. It's just happening. The program's running. So when you take Ormus, you have an awareness of a life force that is everywhere, and this results in the feeling of spiritual connectedness or oneness. And then I'm not going to go in depth with the next one, but you will see the heart area. The heart area before. There's hardly any energetics going on in that heart. Now look at what happened in the heart area after. We have major energetics going on. Now the heart area, and I do have something I want to share with you because this is pretty neat. The thymus gland is a gland of the heart area, and that governs cellular immunity. So if you have a ramped up heart area, you're firing up your immunity so you can fight off any one of a number of things. In Eastern philosophies, the heart area is linked to love, including love that is linked to healing. And that when you have an activated heart area, you can have a better relationship with those in your world. There will be less drama and more straightforward interaction and communication. I want to point out what I found interesting. Do you see that hole where there's no energetics happening in the heart? That day was terrible for me. I had taken a bird into my world determined to save another Lori, had invested a lot of my time and my money and myself, and she died that morning. And I did not want to do these pictures. I didn't want company, but it was already planned. What I think we're seeing here is that old adage, when a contract has been broken, there's a hole in my heart. I think you're actually seeing the energetics of that happening, which I think is fascinating to observe. You can see the throat activated. That's the throat chakra. And the throat chakra is tied to the thyroid, which we know is very important in our body. All the glands are important. The thyroid stimulates protein manufacture, which is our muscle mass. And you know, as we age, that's what we lose, is our muscle mass. So if you can slow that down, you're going to see a difference in the aging. So, what do you think? Did I cause a pause
Blow my
in your mind?
That's amazing.
Did I blow you away?
Please, thank you. More.
Did I make you desire to learn how to do the processes and bring it closer to you? Can I suggest that you take that feeling and turn it into gratitude and appreciation that God made such a substance, and a substance that is easily available to us? And always remember to put God into that equation, because that is the God force energy that's coming through that we are interacting with. And we don't ever want to leave him out of it. So now, I want to introduce Don Nance, and he's going to spend some time with us. And he's a world-renowned, he's very well-known, master alchemist. Everybody in the Ormus community knows Don. He's probably the only alchemist who is actually working with the materials to the degree that he's doing assays on what he's doing so that he can turn it into a quantitative scientific study. We're very blessed that he came across from Tampa today to be with us. Open your ears, shake your head, become consciously aware. Don't miss a word he says. It helps if you hold your fingers like this, because energy is always leaving our body. But when you really want to remember what somebody's saying, bring that energy back into your body, and it will imprint deeper. And I give you very happily Don Nance.
Thank you.
Don't give me much to look up to.